Pat Soundbytes IGTV. Keeping new music alive is what I do on the radio and now on video. Conducting live chats with the artists and learning the stories behind their latest release and also playing their new video. Special thanks to my good friend Jody Best of Best Bet Promotions for coordinating and scheduling today's artist. Having over 20 plus years in the music industry, if you're looking for a highly successful promotion and marketing professional who's extremely motivated, look no further than Jody Best. For more information, contact Jody via email at bestbedpromo@yahoo.com. Special thanks today to my sponsor, Go-Go Tuners, for all guitar players looking for a focus on ease of use, readability, durability, and accuracy. Look no further. The Go-Go Tuner is the choice of many touring professionals and a favorite of casual players. Go-Go's signature green you're in and red you're out screen makes tuning quick and easy. For more information, go to the website at gogotuners.com. Special thanks to WBXO Classic Rock Radio Redefined, allowing me to keep new music alive on the radio airways on the Pat Show every Sunday from 5 to 8 Eastern Standard Time. Only on WBXO Classic Rock Redefined. And a big thank you to Mr. Evan Balzer for allowing me to use his amazing instrumental that you're hearing right now. It's called Trails. To find out more incredible music by Evan, go to his website at evanbalzer.com. And my special guest today is Canadian rocker-songwriter Danny Rossi of the OutLiars. And the OutLiars have released their debut single and video. It's called Light Me Up. Enjoy the ride. We're going to play the video. We're going to talk to Danny about the band, about the track, and a whole lot more right here on Pat Soundbytes IGTV. Hey, live on Pat Soundbytes IGTV, keeping new music alive on the radio and on the video, and man, and all over the world. The other day, KK Downey in the UK. My goodness, we had a band from New Zealand, Mojo Alice, and we love Canada. I had the Jailbirds not too long ago, and I got this cat, rock vocalist, singer, songwriter. I think he's in the Montreal area, but he's up in Canada, and I love Canada. My man, Mr. Danny Rossi. How are you, Danny?
Great. How about you, buddy?
You know, I don't need another Red Bull, and I don't need anything else just to keep me going. Danny, are you in Montreal?
Yes, I sure am.
Do you love hockey? Because I'm an Islander fan, and go Habs! Kick the shit out of Vegas. That's all I give a shit about.
Oh yeah, man. Tonight might be the deciding game.
It's gonna happen. Nobody believed in the Habs, and I'm an underdog guy. Nobody believed in my team either. So good for the Habs. I love hockey, and been to the old Forum. I can't believe it. Many years ago, my bud's uncle was the vice president of Chrysler in Quebec, and he got us like fifth row seats, center ice, and he drives the car on the ice during one of the intermissions, and we were just hammered. People are in three-piece suits looking at us like, who are these assholes? And, you know, typical American drunks from New York, you know, and it was great, man. It was just, it was an experience I will never forget. I got to go to Toronto not too long ago, before this whole pandemic, and get to the Hockey Hall of Fame and all that good stuff. But we're talking to Danny Rossi. Nobody wants to give crap about my hockey experience. And the OutLiars, which is an interesting story. Danny's been rocking for quite a long time. Reading your resume, you rock the States. And I think maybe you found the band I guess you've been waiting to really hook up with. So talk to me about the OutLiars, this great track, Light Me Up, Enjoy the Ride. I mean, it's got a great guitar riff, even though there's little organs in there. Tell me about the bandmates. Tell me how's it going, how it all started.
So I wake up one morning and I'm getting ready to go about my day. I was about to leave the house, and my my old friend from college. I mean, I hadn't seen John, the guitar player, and I hadn't seen him maybe about 15 years. We always got along. We used to strum a guitar in college, and we were like, making goof songs and like, between classes, or because we were hammered between classes or whatever the hell it was in college. And he ended up becoming a videographer as well. So I remember he filmed my first music video with my previous band, and we always got along. But out of the blue one morning, it's probably somewhere around 9 a.m. probably. He sends me a message. He goes, "Hey, dude, what's up?" He goes, "You still rocking? You have a band?" He goes, "I have a song." I go, "Well, send it over." He goes, "If you like it, no hard feelings if you don't." And so I just put in my earbuds, and I press play, and I'm like, wow. It hit me right away. And so I said, okay. I said, I love this. This is right up my alley, dude. It's also a challenge, a little bit different than what I'm used to, but I like that. It's okay to stray.
Absolutely.
I know some people, like, you listen to an album, it's all the same all the way through, but it's okay to stray. There's nothing wrong with it. So I said, give me a couple of days. I'm going to listen to this and find something for it.
Did it have lyrics, or it was just the sound? It was just the song.
No, it was just sound. He said, if you can come up with lyrics and melody, he said, it would
make
be great.
It yours, right?
Yeah. And the whole point of it was my buddy John. He wanted to bring in people from different musical backgrounds, always in the rock, and come together and see what would happen. I was more into the hard rock. John is, by the guitar riffs, you can tell and the solos, and Phil's, he's definitely a blues guitar player. Max was more into heavy metal, I guess we'll call it, heavy metal, who had previous success with two of his bands. It was Pulse Ultra, and then they went on to merge with another band and some members, and they were Rise Electric. Then he got J.E., a buddy of his, to add bass tracks, and then Brandon as well, who added the keyboard. Who actually, Brandon is also a singer. He's won awards up here in Canada for some songs. The basically our musicians union songwriting prize. Forgive me. And so he just wanted to see, and Brandon's more into the pop rock, so he wanted to see like what would happen by mixing. And he said, okay. He goes, but vocals is a whole other story. It's got to fit the song. And by the time it came to me, it was just about done. And I was like, wow, this is great. And I said, I listened to it, and within about 2-3 hours, I had that chorus. And then I tried something for the verses. It didn't work. And I said, give me another 2-3 days. So I kind of like reset my mind. 2-3 days later, I went back and attacked the song, and it hit me. Now I had to come up with some lyrics after I got that melody. And I just kind of recorded it with some of the stuff you see back there. I got like my laptop and a little tiny mixer, like interface, and a crappy microphone. And I recorded it, and I sent it to John, and he just calls me ready. He goes, dude, that's what I wanted for this song. That's the vision I had. And then we took it from there.
Excellent. Light me up and enjoy the ride. And I guess he lit you up when you got were you thinking that? Like, this is what I needed? You're reading, like you said, you were in a band called One, and you did a few other things back and forth, and you kind of took a little bit of maybe a hiatus, and you get this phone call, and it woke you up, and you said, this is what I've been looking for. Was that where the name came from, the title of the track?
No.
I mean, what do I know? You lit up a bone and said, okay, here we go. Okay.
Actually, that's what everybody thinks it's about. The truth is, it was, I think I had the enjoy the ride. It just kind of popped in my head when I was mumbling some words. And then when it was time to kind of get real lyrics and write a story, it's actually just about the first time my fiance just touched me. She just put her hand on me, and I felt a rush go through my body, and I was like, whoa, this is a new sensation. Okay. And I kind of just wrote the story about that. But I like to, personally, for me, I like to write maybe a little vague. So if somebody who, smokes a little of the Mother Nature, and they think it's about that, good. As long as the song makes you happy, that's what music is supposed to be. It's supposed to make you feel something. It doesn't necessarily mean what my story is.
Right.
So
Exactly.
if you want it to be about that, if you want it to be because it gets you excited about life,
and that's what's
you know.
great about music. Everybody has their own interpretation. My guess here, somebody else's could be this, but as you said, as long as everybody's happy and they crank it up and they want more, I mean, that's what it's all about, man. That's
Oh
a
yeah.
killer. So when do we get? Well, let's just back up. Have you been with everybody together in a room yet, or is Canada still somewhat in this lockdown? I know they're starting to open up a little bit more up there.
Everything started opening up. So, I mean, there's still some like rules in place, but I think we could actually get together and go jam somewhere. We've been doing everything remotely. I mean, it took John, close to a year before he got everything completed before he sent it to me. Well, we'll say 8-9 months before he sent it to me. And then another couple of months by the time we got all our ducks in a row and went to studio and got it finished off. And ever since, as soon as like it was released and like, even while it was being mixed, like we're sending riffs back and forth to each other until we got one that we all liked. So and then it's just a matter of like trying to get the time to put it together. And I was like, at one point, like we're all sending ideas back and forth. I'm like, wasn't this just so much easier if we could, when we used to be able to be in a room together?
Right.
Like okay, like you do it on the spot and you figure out the parts, you know. And but now Max has got the drums down, and John is almost done the guitar. There was just a couple of parts he didn't like, so he's just going to go over those. He's doing it now, probably. You know, he said, I think yesterday, the day before, he was almost done. Just wanted to correct a few little parts of the song. So, so we're hoping to get a second release out there if the end results are good. I'm waiting for almost a completed product so I can feel the whole vibe. That way, I can really get into lyrics and melody. I just have a few ideas now, but I can't sit down and concentrate if it's not completed, you know?
No, I hear you. And Danny, I'm not a musician, but I'm old school. I'm a dinosaur. And I mean, this technology is great. I never thought I'd be doing these Zooms compared to phoners for doing many years of just a phone call. So it's really cool to actually see the person and hang out and build a dialogue and a relationship. But when it comes to recording, you know, this is great that you can send a WAV file to, you know, John and Max and the other guys, but man, I think you would miss some magic if you weren't in the room together. You know, that somebody says, "Hey, Danny, try this verse," or, you know,
Yeah.
"John, try that." I mean, that's where the magic, that's where I believe the magic comes from, when you're all in the room. It's like taking an online course. I would be bored out of my wit because I want to hear everybody else's questions. I want to get everybody else involved. I want to be part of that dialogue. And I mean, I'm an analog guy. I can't believe where we are with vinyl these days compared to, you know, my kids look at me. I pull out an 8-track and, you know, the vinyl, the 8-track, the cassette. They look at me like, what planet did you come from? You know, they walking around with thumb drives. I mean, cars, they don't even have CD players in them anymore, which is like, man, Jesus. I'm like with Fred Flintstone.
You got to pay a lot extra to have it in as an option.
Yeah, I know. Can you imagine that? So this is cool. So is the idea? I mean, again, this is kind of new, and you explained a little bit. Are you thinking EP? Are you thinking album? Are you thinking, you know, single after single after single? What's the thought behind the decision making with the OutLiars?
We all enjoyed how the first one came together, and we're gonna see with the second song. And you know, the fun part about all this is we don't have to really set a goal. You know, let's just keep releasing songs, and you know, if you want, we release an album. I mean, I'm an album fan. I don't believe in the whole EP thing unless it's like the first thing you do, like when you're like a kid and it's your first release. You know, you could put out like a 5-6 song thing. That's cool. I know the world kind of comes around. It goes back to the singles and then back to EPs. I don't believe in the EP past like the first time you release something. You know, is Metallica going to release an EP? Bon Jovi, Motley Crue, Kiss? No. Why are you thinking small? I mean, if you don't have good enough songs, then just keep writing more till you have good enough songs to fill up the album, you know? And that, again, just my opinion, that's how I see things. It doesn't mean that's the way the world should work, but I wish it did.
Yeah, I mean, we got into this whole EP thing, and I'm like, I mean, I'm a dinosaur. I hear you, Danny. I want to I'll go to the record store. I want to grab it. I want to open it. I want to pull it out of the sleeve. I want to read the liner notes. I want to understand it. And there's something still about vinyl compared to this whole digital format that we live in, this whole digital packing. I don't know. I mean, it sounds good, but, and I get it. Cost wise, you guys aren't in the studio, so you're saving a ton of money by sending this stuff. But again, I think you missed the magic, and I believe you agreed with me with that. You're an incredible vocalist from what I've been listening to. What got
Thank
you
you.
into the singing? I know you're a multi-instrumentalist. I see a lot of great guitars back there into guitar and bass and all that, Marshall amps. Are you taking lessons? Who got you saying, man, you should be the singer?
So when I was a kid, I discovered Motley Crue, and I just wanted to be like Nikki Sixx, and I wanted to play bass. So that's why there's a bass back there.
Yeah, I see that.
So I wanted to play bass and write lyrics and do backup vocals. Just have the bass hanging real low and just kind of like go up to the mic when it was time. But it was hard to find the singer, so I was singing too. And I mean, honestly, I thought I would just get good overnight when I bought a bass. I was playing and playing. I was playing and playing, and I'm like, why am I not getting any better? And like till your fingers are raw. And I guess I just didn't have it, and that's okay. I realized it, but I also realized I'm a much better singer. And then I started taking some, then I was just singing, but I started taking some vocal coaching here and there till I found the right coach. And I found this crazy guy who studied all types of vocal coaching and put it all together and made it his own. So he mixed methods from ancient Rome with the Japanese technology and American science. He put everything together and he came up with this, and that's, I still use his exercise to this day. Every time I go sing in studio or before a live show, when we used to do live shows, I just still use the same warm-up exercises like 20 years later. No, not 20 years later, but we'll say about 15 years later, I still use them.
Hey, if it works, why not? I mean, I've been blessed to meet Paul Rogers, and man, you want to talk about the man with a velvet voice, and Mark Slaughter. I mean, Mark was the one that told me I could do interviews all day. He taught me that talking is worse to your vocal cord than singing. And he explained the whole, obviously hydration, exercise, doing the proper exercise with your vocal cords and stuff like that. I see a lot of guy with a piece of gum in their mouth. Dave Grohl, the Foo Fighters, always got the gum in his mouth, keeping his voice and the saliva going. And I mean, as a fan, I go and I'm like, yeah, just play, sing. And now that I've been on this side of the table for quite a while, and I'm meeting, like I said, Paul Rogers, I'm meeting Billy Gibbons, I'm meeting Alice Cooper, I mean all these superstars. And now I get it. I mean, it's their job. And, Glenn Hughes, I mean, Glenn says, I get on a tour bus pad, I have to sleep for 8 hours. I can't hit those high notes. I got to sleep for 8 hours and put the blindfold on. I don't know nothing wherever the bus takes us to the next show, but I got to get plenty of sleep, plenty of hydration, and not get crazy with talking. And it's pretty interesting on listening to these guys and where they come, where it all comes from, especially doing it for 40 and 50 years. I'm like, my goodness, man. So
yeah,
cool.
It's there's a lot of sacrifice involved, you can't always, go nuts and party every night, especially if you got shows coming up the next day, you can, obviously you can. I mean, I've done it before in the past, where you're playing really hungover, but I don't feel like it was the best performance of my life. I like to run around on stage, it's about entertaining people. It always has been. And I think there's nothing worse than getting ripped off.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter if you paid $10 for your ticket or 100, 200, 500 for your ticket. I've walked out of concerts. I was like, why? This is boring. The front man doesn't move. They can have all the talent in the world. They can be like God's gift to singing. But if you're boring, at least if the band is boring, it doesn't matter how talented they are. But if the singer doesn't move,
oh yeah,
on top of the band being boring,
I'm getting a beer.
I left. I didn't even stay. I didn't stay, and I was really excited to see this one particular band, and I won't say anything because I don't
Yeah,
badmouth other people.
no.
But I was like, this is so disappointing, you know.
And that's what makes live music. I mean, like, we could hear the music, we could play the album, you know, play the video, but I want to see live music. I want to see somebody running around. I want to see them into it. And you, as those vocalists, you have to sell it. You have to come out with the emotion. You have to really sell the song, because people can read into that too. If you're just saying the words and barely getting off and you got half a load on, I mean, no. We've come from there's a whole different dynamics with that anymore. So that's cool. And obviously the name, the OutLiars, was pretty much you guys just did this whole thing remotely from outside, right? I mean, well, not outside, but not together, more or less.
Yeah, basically, when it comes to naming the band, John and I would always joke around, you know, and I'm like, since we're both Italian, I'm like, dude, I go, well, since actually we're 4 Italians on the song here, and I'm like, let's just call this prosciutto and melon, you know, like the antipasto you have, like, you know, at Italian parties.
That's great. I love that.
And he's like, he goes, maybe something a little more serious. I'm like, okay, you know, I like to joke around all the time. And he goes, I'd like to find something that explains a bit how we did this, which is remotely, right? Everybody was, you know, doing their own thing, and we came together, you know, like that. And so when you look up remotely, and there was a bunch of different words to explain it, and outlying is one of them, which means remote and far from the center. So yeah, the center would be the song, and the rest of us were on the outside coming in. So then he goes, okay, but it was outlying is okay, but what about outlying? Like, we changed lying, like make it look like you're a liar. And it was like, then I don't remember, I think he said then, oh, OutLiars. I go, perfect. That sounds like the name of a band, you know.
I mean, everybody says the hardest part. You could have the greatest songs, you got the greatest players, there's great chemistry, and then you go, what the hell are we going to call ourselves? And you always want something simple, right? You know, you look at Kiss or Rush or Triumph, you know, just one syllable, boom. And then you go, oh no. And then somebody already has it. And this works out good. This tells the story of the band. I like that. I like the idea. You guys are on Instagram. Go ahead, Danny. I'm sorry.
I was like, yeah, we did too. That's why we stuck with it.
No, well, it's good to hear that you're working on something else. Are you the primary songwriter?
I'm just lyrics, vocals and lyrics right now. I mean, but I mean, like, we go into the studio, and you know, when I don't have the stuff to record properly, and I'm no engineer, so I go see my buddy Kevin at Uplift Studios. I've been recording with him for years, all my former stuff. So I went to record with him, you know. So and we're such good friends now that like he's like producing the song a little bit. Well, you know, lyrics. Danny, change that lyric, change that. And John was there. Okay, change that word, sing it that way. You know, so it's like okay, yeah, I'm writing lyrics and melody, but if somebody has an idea better than mine, well,
that's what makes a great producer. Somebody that brings you outside the boundaries and sees that. Danny, hit this note. You know, say it this way. The enunciation, breathing properly. Like I said, as a fan, I'm like, I just want to hear the song, but understanding the instrument that you're using, your voice, that's pretty, that's incredible. What do you miss most? I mean, obviously you're in a few bands, you toured the States. What do you miss most about getting in front of what are you thinking the next time you get in front of a live audience? It's got to be somewhat emotional, right? You haven't done it. I mean, I think about my last live show. I actually went to a live show not too long ago, but for the year and a half, I'm like pulling my hair out of my head.
I think I'm probably going to have to hold it back, because I'll be out of breath in like the first 20 minutes because I'm going to want to go nuts. Okay, easy, buddy. Easy, big guy, you know?
Right.
And, but God, this, you know, it's like, first, like, let's have everything open up. Then let us get in a jam room together, you know, and write more songs. Because between John and I, just sending stuff back and forth, we got a ton of riffs. And like, because I was more into the hard rock, I was writing heavier stuff, and I send it to him, and he makes it sound like the OutLiars, right? He'll give it that bluesy feel in the rock riffs, and I'm like, wow. Sometimes he sends it back a riff, I send him, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I figured you would do to it. That it just sounds so good, you know. and you know, some of this, and just I love when Max like tries drum stuff and sends it back to us, like for the next song we're going to be releasing. It's like, oh yeah, I love that. Like I enjoy every instrument. I really do, and especially when they can come together the way we're trying to do it here, it's really amazing.
Good for you guys. Well, I certainly can't wait to hear the second single that comes out, and we can throw that on our rotation. Danny and the OutLiars are on Instagram at OutLiars Band. They're also on Facebook, and they're also on YouTube. I'm going to crank up Light Me Up, Enjoy the Ride in a second. When you go to the YouTube channel, please hit that like button and slam on that subscribe button. Man, Danny, it's a pleasure to meet you. Anything else? And what's on your bucket list, Danny? If you had a chance to open up for somebody, talk to me about the OutLiars. Make, you know, something on your wish list that you would like to see happen.
Well, because we don't have enough songs to really know what would be good for a fit to open up, you know, because I always found it's bad when an opening band doesn't fit with the main act.
I agree.
And doesn't matter if I like both of them. It's like you can't have Megadeth opening up for I don't know, Maroon 5.
Right,
you know,
Maroon 5, right. Yeah,
it just doesn't fit, you know.
Right.
And I love and they're both great. So but my bucket list was always to be able to open up for Motley Crue, since it was the reason I got into music. But now I don't know. I'd have to change only because of the sound of the OutLiars. I don't know if we'd be the right fit.
No, I understand, and I agree with you. But you know what? Good things happen to good people, my friend. You're onto something good, and we're glad to be part of the ride. We're enjoying the ride. I can tell you that, buddy. Danny, I hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as I have, and the door is always open for track number 2. Get a hold of me, and we'll rock it again.
Absolutely, man.
I love it. Danny Rossi on the OutLiars right here on Pat Soundbytes. It's time to crank it up, and we're going to crank it up right now. Check this out. Light Me Up, Enjoy the Ride right here on Pat Soundbytes IGTV.